Yeah.
Let's dive into the real world of law and Tacoma's creative journey.
They don't see the nonsense like the paperwork, the admin stuff, the hours and hours of research, and.
Yeah, and also, this is law is really, when you become a lawyer, you're really solving people's problem.
Mhm.
It's a problem solving issue, and people are coming with terrible situations.
Yeah.
I don't go to a lawyer when I'm really happy and
No,
there's good.
something bad usually happen, right?
It usually something bad
Yeah.
happens. I mean, there are other forms of law where, like, for example, doing paperwork and all that. But really, for the most part, lawyers are involved when some serious thing has happened. You're supposed to come in, and there are fighting parties
Yeah.
involved. Very likely, somebody close to you,
Yeah.
who you have a difference with, there's a
Exactly.
conflict. So imagine yourself, you're always surrounded by this environment where fighting parties come to you and you have to resolve it. And this is also true for doctors, for example. Now, hospital is not a happy
You're
place.
not going to a doctor. Hey! I feel the best I ever felt in my life.
You never go to a hospital because I'm just gonna hang out. You
Yeah.
know. So imagine as a doctor or as a nurse, what environment are you surrounded with? You're surrounded with people who have serious health issues, or their families who are sad because somebody else has a health issue. So is this something that you can take? Can you be happy in that
Mm.
environment? So not only do you have to operate and work in this environment, you also want to add some humor and some
Mm.
happiness and give hope to people who are in your environment, who have little hope, or
Yes.
their hope is dented in some ways. They're not totally happy. So it's like a dual job. But some people are very good at it. They are just amazing. I've met some of the nurses and some of the doctors. They are just wonderfully hopeful people, and that one characteristic
Mm.
that parents, school counselors, family members don't talk about when they talk to young people and say, Jason, you're a very hopeful person, man. You're always optimistic. You don't give up easily. You might want to think about a career that aligns very
Yeah.
strongly with your core characteristics. We don't align it. And this idea of using what you're good at for your career choice is called capitalization rate.
Mm.
And this idea of capitalization rate is very simple. What are you good at? Align it with the long term things. If Tiger Woods, for example, was very young, very very young, and his father saw something in him and said, "My kid has that talent. I'm going to help him become a golf player." And he took him around everywhere he went. He took his son. He identified anything and everything related to golf. He spoke to coaches. He took him to tournament. He just gave him that environment, and he became great because he had it
Mm.
and somebody recognized it. He capitalized on his strength, and we don't do it very well. We don't do it with cities, we don't do it with countries, we don't do it with students, we don't do it with universities. Um, and I don't know why we are so bad at capitalizing on our strength. Tacoma, for example, coming back to my city and working on the project that I'm working on, I believe that Tacoma's most important strengths are its location. Tacoma has amazing waterfront. It has mountains. It has indoor spaces, outdoor spaces. Tacoma has amazing location. It's right between Portland and Seattle, two important cities. It's not too far from Vancouver, British Columbia, which is the third biggest uh, film hub in North America. Tacoma also has these long summers. Our lights, amazing light. This is one of the best lighting situation in a city like Tacoma in summer. And we have long summers. Sun sets at 10 p.m. You have these all the time. And more than anything else, we have a history of film, silent films, all kind of films. And then we have an artistic community. Now, if you look at the city and say, what are the natural endowment of this city and what should this city leverage? I can't think of anything else more than creative economy. And yet, I don't think we are leveraging it as much as we should. I mean, we have public schools, but all cities need public schools. We have hospitals. One of our biggest employers is multi-care, but all cities have all cities have hospital. So there are certain standard industries that all cities need, irrespective of their natural endowment. But then there are natural strengths, and we should look at it from the perspective of capitalization rate. Malcolm Gladwell has written a lot on this. David and Goliath, one of his books, Outlier, and he has done a couple of podcasts as well, and where he's spoken about this idea of capitalization rate. We should capitalize on our strength.
So I think the term creative gets thrown around a lot, right? But what actually is a creative? What makes someone a creative?
Well, people people will have different definition. My idea of creative person is anybody who can produce something. If you can create something that wasn't there, this podcast wasn't there. I hadn't come to you before. We had never had a conversation. You just created it. You are a creative person for me. You created it. It wasn't there yesterday. It wasn't there. Today it's there, and it's gonna be there, and it will have an impact on people's lives. Somebody would listen to us. They might reach out to you. They might reach out to me. So anything that people, anybody who can create something that wasn't there and something that also has an impact, that person, to my mind, is a creative person.
So why do you think since the beginning of human history we've always wanted to be entertained? What's about humans that we have to be entertained? Even back, Roman times, Egyptian times, way back, cavemen used to draw paintings. Like, why do we need to be entertained?
I don't know. Why do we need to be entertained? I think that's we are just designed to interact. I think, and it's very difficult to interact with your community, with your environment, with your people around you if you're not entertained. It's terribly painful to live your life without being entertained. It's just, it's, and entertainment doesn't necessarily means watching a film or watching a performance. Entertainment also means relaxation. Entertainment also being aware of your environment, having a good conversation, having a meaningful relationship, reading a book that touches your heart, and then finding somebody who you can talk to about the book that you read. I think all of this is, in my mind, quote unquote entertainment. I know entertainment industry likes to talk about entertainment in a very specific product and services way. Entertainment for the film industry is films. Entertainment for music industry is music. Entertainment for dancing world is dance performances. But I think conversation is an entertainment. I get some of my best entertainment when I meet people who are like-minded, who feel for some of the same issues I feel, who stand up for social justice. I get entertained by people who love history. I just met with a friend, Marie, and she and I were talking about the importance of history and historians. That whole conversation, I was with her for about an hour. It was just as good as I had the same feeling as I would have if I watch a great film. Same feeling, same emotion. I get high, I get in the state of flow. The state of flow they have spoken a lot about. How do you get in the state of flow is when you are engaged, when you derive meaning, or when you are entertained.
So whether deserved or not, Tacoma does not have the best reputation. Like, how does Tacoma overcome this and become a better city, so to speak?
Well, the fact that Tacoma did not have a good reputation in the past, I think it has come very far. That's part of the story, and that's what I love. I'm an outsider. I had no relationship with Tacoma. I moved from India in 2015. I had visited Tacoma only once for a very short duration of time when I first came. I was here. My wife grew up here. Her parents used to live here, and then her dad got a job. They moved to California. So my exposure to Tacoma was very little. Just I believe a few weeks, and then I went back to India, and then we decided to come back here. I love that story. I think the fact that Tacoma in the mid 70s, 80s, it was one of the most dangerous cities in the country. It was one of the most stressful cities. There was crime, there was drugs, there were drug wars, all of that. From that point all the way to now, what a great story. I mean, imagine if it were a human being, it would inspire you. I mean, imagine Tacoma as being a person who was into drugs, who was into guns, who was stinky, who had a certain bad, Tacoma aroma, all of these bad things. And then suddenly you meet that person again, and suddenly that person is one of the celebrities, one of the biggest influencers, who is number 3 on CNN Travel. Would it not inspire you? I mean, I think it's a great story. Yes, we had a bad past, and a lot of it is still there. But name a city which doesn't have it. I was in London, I went to LA. Any of the cities, anywhere in the world, have some problems. All cities have problems. Some have more, some have less, some have historical problems that they have not been able to solve. I think Tacoma has done an excellent job in solving some of its most pressing problems. It has come a far from that bad, terrible situation.
So what's going on in Tacoma right now that you're really proud of? Like, okay, Tacoma got this right.
I think Tacoma has really nurtured its artistic community. People feel very good about all of the kind of events we do, their art festival, their amazing waterfront. I think city has done a great job.
That waterfront is so outstanding. Like Russian Way, it's like I need to spend more time there. This restaurant was just so beautiful. It's like
Isn't
yeah,
it? But you know that same place, how bad it was back in
I,
the
I
day,
heard. Yeah, I heard.
where Dune Peninsula is. That's where Frank Herbert was.
Okay.
That's the place that inspired him to write Dune.
Oh, I
He
didn't know
used to
that.
live there. He used to watch all that smelter and bad smell. That's what inspired him to do. The bad thing inspired him. But today it's one of the most gorgeous places.
Yeah, it's so
I
beautiful
mean,
there.
it's being ranked as, I think, one of the magazines or blog posts ranked the Sunset is one of the most beautiful in
Yes.
the country. People come out there, they play. There are amazing businesses there. There are art studios, there are apparel shops, there are places to play, and they're great apartments.
Have you ever been to the ice cream place there?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man,
The
that like the
social ice
summertime.
cream.
In the summertime, that line is so long.
Yeah, social ice cream. Yeah, yeah. But I think that's where my storytelling perspective comes and filmmaking. That you stories, great stories have great conflict. Great stories have great transformation. And Tacoma is such a great story. And going back to your question again, what is it that Tacoma is doing right? I think city of Tacoma is doing a great job in revitalizing some of the spaces. We have amazing parks.